So there are a number of answers to that question. Firstly, that one might imagine if there are two types of people in the economy, debtors and creditors. You're quite right in the sense in which if I am paying back debt to a creditor, in aggregate, there's no impact on the economy. Right, so the debtor has less debt, the creditor has more wealth because the money's been handed back to them. So then the subsidiary argument is the extent to which we consume out of income if we're a debtor or a creditor. And most of the analysis out there kind of suggests that debtors tend to be people with lower incomes and generally have larger or higher marginal propensities to consume. And it's a terrible phrase, but economists tend to model them as hand-to-mouth consumers. So any income that comes in gets spent. Whereas the people who own wealth or own banks or if kind of people want to think are tremendously wealthy, that's going to be less likely that a flow income to them would be spent. So the net effect on the economy is to reduce the overall level of aggregate demand. And to go back to your point, you're right that if we think that the level of debt to income has risen and we respond by reducing our expenditure and increasing our savings to lay off debt, that would lead to an even lower level of output. One of the ways you reduce the rapidity of that process is to have very low interest rates for a very long time. So that, let's suppose interest rates were 5%, and I thought that my debt to income was too high, I may start to save very rapidly indeed. And if I start to save very rapidly indeed, that may lead to an even sharper downturn. But if interest rates were near zero for a very long time, and I'm sure that would never happen, I suppose they were zero for a very long time, then that person who originally wanted to save a lot won't save quite as much, which means that the process is slower and more elongated. So part of the reason you're seeing such a slow and elongated recovery is that interest rates are stopping it being more rapid. And there are some people out there who say, look, let it happen quickly and we can start again. And then there are people saying, well, actually, I'm a bit worried about high levels of unemployment. I'm a bit worried about businesses going bankrupt. I'm a bit worried about people losing their livelihood and their homes. So we'll do it more gradually. I guess it's a question for the body politic to decide how quickly you want to move. The adjustment is occurring, but it's occurring gradually because interest rates are low.